Good morning students. In our previous video we have done part 1 of the lesson Quality written by John Galsworthy. Before we take up part 2, let us revise part 1. Mr. Gessler lived with his elder brother in their shoe shop in London. He was a great artist. He knew Author and his father. He made boots for Author's father. And his shop had no signboard except Gessler Brothers was written on it. And he made shoes only on advance order. Whatever the shoes which he made, they never ever failed to fit the customers. Once, Author went to Mr. Gessler's shop to have Russian leather boots. He ordered him and he got them within 15 days. He ordered so many pairs of boots. Once, the author had a chance to inform Mr. Gessler that one pair had a creaking sound. So to that, Mr. Gessler was shocked and he said that he will mend it or he will replace or even he will take it off from the bill. Now let us see the remaining part of the lesson. Look into your book, page number 74. Once I went absent-mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. He took my order without showing me any leather and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. At last he said, "Those are not my boots." Now let us see the hard words in this. Absent-mindedly means thoughtlessly. Emergency, urgent. Large firm, large shop. Penetrating, passing through. Inferior, of low quality. Once I went absent-mindedly. I refers to author. Author, he went thoughtlessly. Absent-mindedly means thoughtlessly. Where did he go? He went to Mr. Gessler's shop. And what did he wear? He wore a pair of shoe which was not purchased from Mr. Gessler's shop. And where did he purchase that pair of shoe? He purchased from a large shop. From a big shop he had purchased and he wore that shoe and he went to Mr. Gessler's shop to order for some other boots. He took my order without showing me any leather. So who took his order? Mr. Gessler has taken the order from the author and he did not even show the leather. So previously when he went, he had shown that brown leather, but now he did not show the leather to him. And I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior. Penetrating means passing through. So author could see Mr. Gessler that he was looking at his boots. And I could feel that penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. Inferior means, here you see inferior means here it is of low quality. So author had seen Mr. Gessler that he was looking at his boots which were of low quality. At last he said, "Those are not my boots." So he says, Mr. Gessler says that those boots are not made by him. The tone was not one of anger, nor of sorrow, not even of contempt, but there was in it something quite that froze the blood. So here you will see two words, children. Here tone refers to the sound. Contempt means hatred. Froze means to make rigid. So here the voice which Mr. Gessler was speaking, it was not of anger. So he did not get angry that the shoes were not purchased from his shop. And it was not also of sorrow. And it was also not even of contempt. Contempt means here hatred. He did not even hate the author that he did not purchase the boots from him and he was wearing the boots which he had purchased from the other shop. And something that froze the blood. Froze the blood means here you see froze refers to make rigid. So he felt bad about it that those shoes were not purchased from his shop and he wore that and he came to his shop. He put his hand down. Who has put his hand down? Gessler has put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left boot was not quite comfortable. So Mr. Gessler pressed the foot or the boot on the left side and which was not comfortable for the author. So that means the boots which the author was wearing, they were not comfortable and he showed the place where it was not comfortable. Okay, next one. It hurts you, dear. So it hurts means it hurts you, dear. So this is the German accent. He says, here it hurts you. And he said, does those big firms have no self-respect? So he says that those big firms refers to the big shops. They don't have self-respect. They don't take up the quality. They just think about the quantity. And then, as if something had given way within him, he spoke long and bitterly. So, he felt very bad and he started speaking bitterly. Bitterly means he had some hardships with grief that he was expressing. It was the only time I ever heard him discuss the condition and hardships of his trade. Trade means business. So it was only that time when Mr. Gessler was speaking about his sorrow, his grief and the hardships which he was facing in the business. They get it all. They get it by advertisement, not by work. They take it away from us who love our boots. It comes to this. Presently, I have no work. Every year it gets less. You will see. So here, all this is said by Mr. Gessler to the author. So he says that they get it all. So who are they? They are the large firms. They get all this. They take all the customers. How do they take the customers? By advertising their product. So by advertising their product, they take away the customers whom even Mr. Gessler is also having. And they take it away from us who love our boots. So even whoever comes to his Mr. Gessler shop, they are also attracted to those advertisements. Even they also go to the large firms. So every year it gets less. So year by year it is getting less. So what is getting less? The customers coming to Mr. Gessler's shop is becoming less. And you will see. So, and looking at his lined face, I saw things I had never noticed before. Bitter things and bitter struggle, and what a lot of grey hairs there seemed suddenly in his red beard. So here we come across some difficult words, that is bitterly. Bitterly means with grief and hardship. Lined face. Face here it refers to Mr. Gessler's face which was wrinkled. Bitter means hard. Struggle is the battle. So now, and looking at his lined face. So who was looking at the lined face? The author was looking at Mr. Gessler's face which was wrinkled. I saw things I had never noticed before. So he had seen certain things which he did not notice them before. So what are those things? Bitter things. Bitter things means the hard things. He was struggling very hard to come up in the business. And what a lot of grey hairs. So he had so many grey hairs, and also he seemed suddenly all those grey hairs he had seen in his beard. So here the author had seen Mr. Gessler, how difficult Mr. Gessler was feeling to come up with his business. Now see the next paragraph. As best I could, I explained the circumstance of those ill-omened boots, but his face and voice made so deep an impression that during the next few minutes I ordered many pairs. They lasted longer than ever, and I was not able to go to him for nearly 2 years. So here we have the difficult word, that is ill-omened, means misfortune. So as best I could, I explained the circumstances. So he explained the situation. So what is the situation which he had explained? He had gone to another shop and he purchased the boots, and that he wore, and he came to Mr. Gessler's shop. So that circumstance, that situation, in an emergency, he had to take that, he explained to Mr. Gessler. And it was a misfortune also, he said. But his face and voice made so deep an impression that during the next few minutes, so he was attracted towards, or he attracted towards Mr. Gessler and his work, as his work is always perfect. And he had ordered so many pairs of boots. And for the next 2 years, he had ordered, and he was not able to meet Mr. Gessler for the next 2 years. It was many months before my next visit to his shop. This time it appeared to his elder brother handling a piece of leather. So after many months, he visited to Mr. Gessler's shop. So he thought that when he had entered, he thought that it was his elder brother who was there in the shop. Well, Mr. Gessler, I said, how are you? He came close and peered at me. I am pretty well, he said slowly, but my elder brother is dead. So who was that man? It was Mr. Gessler only. So he asked him, he inquired how was he? So he said that he was pretty well, and he said that it was his elder brother who is no more. And I saw that it was indeed himself, but how aged and wan. And never before had I heard him mention his brother. Much shocked, I murmured, oh, I'm sorry. So here you come across one word, children. Wan. Wan is pale and weak. So who was looking very pale and weak? It was Mr. Gessler who was looking very pale and weak. So why was he pale and weak? So he was pale and weak as his brother is no more and all the work he had to do it by himself. And yes, he answered, he was a good man. He made a good boot, but he is dead. And he touched the top of his head, where the hair had suddenly gone, as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother, to indicate, I suppose, the cause of his death. Do you want any boots? And he held up the leather in his hand. It is a beautiful piece. So as he answered, so he was telling, they were talking about the elder brother of Mr. Gessler. So he says that he was a good man. He made good boots also, but he is no more. And he touched the top of his head. So Mr. Gessler touched the top of his head. So on the top of his head there was no hair, and all that hair had suddenly gone. So as thin as it had been on that of his poor brother. So it was like even his brother also, he did not had hair on his head on the top. And to indicate, I suppose, to the cause of death. So maybe it was an indication of death, he thought. Do you want any boots? So now Mr. Gessler asked the author whether he wanted boots. And he held up the leather in his hand. It had a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful piece. So he had taken up some leather in his hand and he said that this is a beautiful piece, and do you want to order any boots? I ordered several pairs. So immediately the author had ordered so many pairs of boots. It was very long before they came, but they were better than ever. One simply could not wear them out, and soon after that I went abroad. So after he had ordered, it has taken lot of time. See, it was very long before they came. So it took lot of time for those boots to be delivered. And after taking them out, and immediately the author went abroad. It was over a year before I was again in London. So 1 year has passed off, and afterwards the author came back to London. At the first shop I went was my old friend's. I had left a man of 60. I came back to one of 75, pinched and worn, who genuinely this time did not at first know me. So here we come across the words pinched. Pinched refers to thin. Worn refers to old. Genuinely refers to really. So here it was over a year before I was again in London. So again the author has come back to London after a year. And the first shop I went to was my old friend's. So first shop, to whose shop did he go? Naturally he'll go to Mr. Gessler's shop. I had left a man of 60. I had left a man of 60 means here when he went to abroad, at that time he had left the author's age was 60 actually. I came back to one of 75. So after 1 year, when he had returned, he was able to guess Mr. Gessler's age to be 75. Why it is like that? Actually it should be 61. So why it is like that? Because here Mr. Gessler was the only person who was doing, and his brother also was not there with him. So he was doing all the work by himself, and maybe the poverty, or the as he did not get proper orders, maybe that also may be the cause of being aged. Pinched and worn. Pinched means thin. So he became very thin. So he did not eat the food properly. And worn means old. He became old. Who genuinely this time did not at first know me. Genuine means really. So really he did not know him for the first time. So when Mr. Gessler was unable to find who was author. Do you want any boots? He said. I can make them quickly. It is a slack time. So slack here refers to time of not much business. Okay, so now when the author went to Mr. Gessler's shop, okay, as Mr. Gessler was looking very old, very worn out, very pale, also very weak, even then he says that now there is no business. So if you want to order the boots I can do it, and I can give you quickly, that he says. I answered, please, I want boots all around, every kind. So here the author says that he wants boots of different kinds and he wants them all. I had given those boots up when one evening they came. One by one I tried them on. So one evening all the boots which he had ordered, they have come to the author's house. So one by one I tried. So one by one the boots he tried them on in shape and fit, in finish and quality of leather. They were the best he had ever made. So those boots were the best which he had ever made, in shape, in finishing, everything. It was perfect. I flew downstairs. I flew downstairs means he went down, wrote a check and posted it at once with my own hand. So he wrote a check and he had given the check to Mr. Gessler. A week later, passing the little street. So after that, 1 week after, a week later, passing the little street, I thought I would go in and tell him how splendidly the new boots fitted. But when I came to where his shop had been, his name was gone. So here we come across the harbor, splendidly. Splendidly means excellently. So after 1 week, so he wanted to inform Mr. Gessler that whatever the boots which he had sent him, those boots were excellent. They were very good and they were of fine quality which had fit him properly. And that he wanted to inform to Mr. Gessler. So he went to that particular street. So but when I came to where his shop had been, so when he went to where the shop was, his name was gone. Name was gone means there, the Gessler brothers was not at all there. I went in very much disturbed. So when he did not see that Mr. Gessler brothers was not there, he was very much disturbed and he went in. In the shop, there was a young man with an English face. So in the shop, who was there instead of Mr. Gessler? There was one young man. He was of Englishman. Mr. Gessler, in, I said. No, sir. He said, no, but we can attend to anything with pleasure. We have taken the shop over. So when the author was entering, Mr. Gessler, he said. So immediately that Englishman said, no, we have taken this shop. So whatever the pleasure, we will do the work, or we are at your service, he says. Yes, yes, I said, but Mr. Gessler. So he wanted to know what happened to Mr. Gessler. Oh, he answered, dead. Dead? But I only received these boots from him last Wednesday week. So he says that last week only I have received these boots, and I came to inform him that these boots are very well done. So he says that he came to know that that Mr. Gessler was no more, and that shop had been taken by this English man. Ah, he said, poor old man starved himself. So here that Englishman says that the poor old man, who is this poor old man? Mr. Gessler. So what happened to him? He starved. Starved means without any food. Slow starvation, the doctor called it. So what did the doctor say? They said that it was slow starvation. Without having food for some days, it was called as a slow starvation. And out of slow starvation, Mr. Gessler died. You see, he went to work in such a way, would keep the shop on. So what made him to starve? So he started doing the work in such a way that he did not even think of whether to think of eating, or he did not even take care of himself. Would keep the shop on, wouldn't have a soul touch his boots except himself. So wouldn't have a soul. Soul here refers to person. So he did not, Mr. Gessler did not allow anyone to touch the boots. He did the finishing, or he did the stitching part, everything. He made the boots all by himself. He did not rely on anyone. He did the boots perfectly. So when he had to do it all alone, it took him lot of time, and he did not even had an idea to have the food. And like that, by doing the work, he starved. When he got an order, it took him such a time. People won't wait. So whenever he got an order, he used to do it all alone. He did not take anyone's help. He did not put any other worker. So it had taken a lot of time for him to do it. And normally people will not wait. Okay. He lost everybody. So as people will not wait, he has lost the customers. So why did he lose the customers? Because he used to do the work slowly, and he did not give the boots at right time, or he had taken a lot of time to make the boots. And there he had sit, going on and on. So there he was sitting and working on and on. Going on and on means working and working. So continuously he was sitting and going on doing the work. And I will say that for him, not a man in London made a better boots. So I will say what he says, that it is only this man, Mr. Gessler, who made the best boots in London. But look at the competition. He never advertised, would have the best leather too, and do it all himself. Well, there it is. what could you expect with his ideas but starvation? So what was the idea of Mr. Gessler? The idea of Mr. Gessler is to do the, he did not come into that competitive world. He did the work all alone. He did not take the help from anyone, or neither he had put any worker. So as he did the work all alone, it made him to work and work continuously. He was working, and whatever the leather which he has used the fine leather and the best quality boots he has given. But it has taken lot of time. But people did not wait, and all the customers, he has to lose all the customers. Okay, what could you expect with this idea? So a person with this ideas, will he be able to come up in the business? Naturally, no. So only he had starvation, as he has lost so many customers. That may be a bit flowery, as the saying is. So here bit refers to a little. Flowery means exaggeration. But I know myself, he was sitting over his boots day and night to the very last you see. So I know, here the Englishman says that I know that he was sitting day and night and doing continuously, he was working on and on. Okay, a very last you see, to the very last means until the end. So until the end of his life, he was going working and working. He was going on doing and doing. He was doing the boots. He was making the boots for the people, and he had given the best quality of boots to the people. I used to watch him, never gave himself time to eat. So here the Englishman says that I used to watch this fellow, that is Mr. Gessler. He did not he hadn't given time to have his food. Never had a penny in the house. Penny means money. He did not have money in his house. All went in rent and leather. So whatever the money which he had got, everything he used to pay in rent, and also he used to purchase the leather, and he used to do it. He did not have any profit. How he lived so long, I don't know. So how he was able to manage so long, okay, by just paying the rent and purchasing the leather, and without having any penny for himself. All went in rent and leather. How he lived so long, I don't know. He regularly let his fire go out. He was a character, but he made good boots. Okay, so this Mr. Gessler was a man of character. He did not go for profits. He had done the things perfectly. He purchased the fine leather, and he has done the work. He did not keep some money as a profit, or neither he had reduced the quality of leather. So he has given the boots, the best boots, to the people or to the customers. But he made good boots. Yes, I said he made good boots. So even the author also accepts that he had given the best boots to the customers. So for that only the author had come to say him that he got the finest boots ever, and whatever the boots which Mr. Gessler makes, it lasted long, and people thought of him as a person who had a great artist, as he had done the boots with great interest, and he had put his heart and soul to do the work, and he never thought of the profit, or neither he had compromised over the leather. So here we come across Mr. Gessler, who is just thinks about the quality of the thing. He doesn't think about the quantity, or he did not even bother about the profits. And all this had been done by the large firms or the large shops, big shops. They used to attract the people by advertising, but he never did it. He had taken the best quality of leather, and he did it to the people. So he was remembered in the people that he is a person who made the best boots in London. Is it clear, children? Thank you.